Hey projectors, Bangers here again. I've been super excited about this project for a while. Today's project is this Masport Craftsman Delux push mower. Now, my mate Mark gave this to me. Well, he didn't give it to me. He said, mate, thought this would make a good project, and he knows I'm into my mowers. What I'm excited about is this mower is pretty old. I haven't verified how old it is, but it's in such good shape. So, and I just love all the features about it. So to start off, you can't go past a Briggs and Stratton engine. Now, there's a guy I follow online, he calls them Breaks and Scrap 'em, which I think is pretty funny. However, these Briggs and Strattons that they made throughout the 80s and the 90s were just absolutely bulletproof. They were the go-to for lawn mowers and whatever else. They've got that classic top on them. They got the classic air filter here on the side, simple as, worked for years, don't overthink it. And that standard thing. I remember when I was a kid, when I was a boy mowing the lawn, we had mowers like this with the spark plug on the front. And the rubber boot would go on the spark plug, and so it was just some of them we just had that wire ring stuck onto the spark plug, and then I remember getting these caught on the bottom wire of the fence, of the barbed wire fence, and you know, you're not that sharp when you're a kid, leaning down, you learn your lesson, and the barbed wire was earthing out on the spark plug, and I went to lift the barbed wire off it to free it, and dum, 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 all of a sudden I'm getting timed with the engine, which was a bit of a shock. But anyway, great story. That's a memory I've got there. So he had this laying in his shed at work. I think he was actually using it. I'm not sure if he was, but I think it was his granddad's, and he's just kept it. So I'm going to try and do it justice. This is just the coolest old mower. So we'll get into it. Masport. Now, I didn't know this, and I don't know if this is for real, all of the Masports, but there's a sticker over here that says, I'll put some photos up of this stuff so you can see it properly. Over here it says a beautiful sticker like that it's brand new, made in New Zealand. The mower is protected by one of the following: a New Zealand patent, an Australian patent, Great Britain, and the US of A. So I just think that's excellent. And you can even see here, again, I'll do some photos. It's still got the sticker. Like, it's not a great, you know, back in the day, it's still got the model number on it, or the serial number in a sticker version, 157136. And this Masport mower complies with the good safety requirements of New Zealand and Australian standards. Hey, fantastic. And it's got a cast aluminium deck. This is cast aluminium. You can see it around the side here. It's been rubbing, where it's rubbed up against whatever they've been doing. It's been rubbing and it's worn through, but it's still got the beautiful green color on it. All the wheels are intact. It's incredible. I almost can't believe it. It's got some rag and stuff stuck around down the bottom here, but we'll get into cleaning all of that. We're not going to clean it up too much because I like the retro version of it. It's even got like the original handle, and I'll tell you why it's deluxe. Watch this. 2 fingers, and I'm raising and lowering. It's spring loaded. So there's a big spring in there that, you know, you don't have to fight it when you're doing it. It's got the classic old school little oil knob on top. Oh, that's still free. Let's see if there's, I think we'd have to, oh yeah, look at that. You got the original oil dipstick in there. Oh, she's got oil in her. We'll see if she goes. So I'd be pretty excited to see if we can get a run out of this, which would be exciting. So look, it's got so many cool little features. It's got this great little throttle knob, which is pretty cool. All this is intact. It's all a bit seized up, but we'll get to it. No catcher, but hey, what are you gonna do? It's still pretty cool. So yeah, we're gonna get into it. First off, what I'll do is, you see here, I noticed this when I first saw it. It's got this great, I don't know if this is aftermarket, but it's got this little pull and go symbol on the end of onto the pull cord. Now we'll get it stripped down a little bit. We'll just put a bit of spray on it and clean it up. But yeah, so here we go. What do we got here? Oh, by the way, if you like this content, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons And that way you won't miss out on the next mower or the next good content that I do if you're into it. So, and it helps the channel. Legends. All right, so what do we got here? You see what's here in 11? Yep, beautiful. So we'll get this off first. We'll get ourselves a tray. Put our bibs and bobs in. Handy tip if you're doing a lot of this mower stuff, you know, get yourself a bunch of these little tubs. Now that one, I'm not sure I want to put this flat blade on that. I'm just going to go very gentle. Oh yeah, no, it's come off. Half this stuff's great. It's still, like, it's not that rusted. It's not like fully corroded or anything. Going to leave that there. Now we're just going to we'll take that out and put it aside for now. We'll just leave that throttle cable over there. Here's another cool thing, and I'll put a photo up of this. I'll see if I can get some dates of when they're actually manufactured, but there's a whole heap of, it says here model code, model type and code. So the model 113908 063402 is the type, and the code is 84031508. I would hazard a bet that this is an 84 model, 1984. Now I was born in 1983 and I'm 41. So if I'm right, this is a 40-year-old mower, which is bloody amazing. Like, yeah, if that's, I'll check it, but shit, seriously? I reckon it's pretty cool. I don't want to fanboy out too much on mowers, but I grew up using a mower like this, and I think it's excellent that this thing still has survived. I have to remember what Mark's dad's name is. Sorry, Mark's dad, I can't remember your name right this moment, but we're going to need a little bit of spray on this one. It's even got this little, it's, careful not to break that. I'm just here taking this off. It's even got this little wound spring for where that picks up the throttle cable, which is pretty cool. So that's excellent. Like normally this stuff, that'd be snapped off and long gone. We'll just rest that in there. So I think there's another screw over here. So we're gonna have to make a plan for, here's another one. So there's another screw up under here. There's another bolt up under there. I'll get to that one up under here. There we go. That one came off pretty easy. There's another one. Lord knows where they go. Oh, there we go. Bit of action there. How does that come off? You got to ask yourself. Oh, that's part of that. Oh. And there's one in here that holds the fuel tank on. So let's tackle that. It's going to be something like a 13. Yep, perfect. Oh, loosey goosey. Here she comes. We get that out. Yep, perfect. Oh, it's long enough, isn't it? 13. Oh, here she comes. Whole thing's going to come off in a minute. Come on, baby. There she goes. Oh, look how long that was. Some crazy design engineer. Oh, yeah. Check that out. Huh. Original. Beautiful. Just need it. Oh, look at the starter motor on that. Out she comes. She's a bit stuck. All right, caution. Oh, what does this say? Danger. Spring below, steel spring below this cover. Do not pull rope with this cover removed. Remove cover with caution. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Well, we're not doing any of that. We're just going to give it some lube. Give it a bit of lube up. Now, my lube of choice is Inox multi-purpose lubricant because it doesn't stink like bloody WD-40. So, woohoo! Come on, baby. Tell you what, look at how that pops up when you operate it. It pops up on it to come up onto on that starter motor, that worm gear, whatever you call it. It'll plenty of lube in there. Ooh. Yeah, we're gonna have to. We might have to give that a bit of love off to the side, I reckon. we go. She's got lubing up. Oh yeah, there we go. Ha, beautiful. I love how things are made. It's like, yeah, lube it up, mate, should be right. That's old school. Okay, I will leave that to sit for a bit, but that's pretty cool. Ooh, trying not to break everything. We were taking this cover off. Oh, that's revealed another bolt for us. Another one on under here. What are these? These are weird. This is M11. Okay, here we go. Oh, there we go. Beautiful. Off that comes. That's beautiful. Excellent. Right, put that one in there. So here we go. It's just going to come off now. Yep, perfect. It's pretty crazy looking. But I love that. I love that's all original with the sticker on. Yeah, see him with a sticker on. 4-cycle engine, Briggs and Stratton, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, USA. 4 horsepower at 3,600 RPM. Oh, so at revolutions per minute. SAE J607. Read instructions before starting. 187cc. That's pretty cool. I love it. Right. Bit of history stuff here. That's great. Wisconsin. So just having a check here. It's got some pretty good compression. I can feel it, and then it gets to a point where you can hear it going past the valves, which is pretty cool. And then this is the coil, right, which gives it the spark. And then you can see here on the side, on the flywheel here, these magnets. So they'll go past and create that electrical current through those windings as it comes past. I'll tell you what we'll look at next is we'll look at what sort of fuel was in this thing. So I'm just gonna, oh, there we go. It's old school fuel cap, which is pretty excellent. Okay, now I've got the trusty torch here. What's going on in here? Okay, we need to clean that out. There's not so much moisture in there. I think that's an aluminium tank. So that's why it's lasted. This machine has been manufactured so as not to emit noise in excess of a noise level of 78 decibels when measured at a distance of 7.5 meters. Oh, these guys that run the standards, that's great. Okay, fine. At 7.5 meters, we'll only produce this decibels. I was like, just make the mower work great. That's what you should be worried about. But I guess you don't want to be blowing up the neighborhood with noise. Now, geez, there's some bit of junk in the top here. Bit of rat's nesty stuff. That fuel cap back on. Right, should I blow down? We won't get too invested in all that yet, because we want to sort of keep it original. Take this. See if we can get the, oh yeah, beautiful. Okay, everything on here is just, I keep thinking it's going to be horrible. Let's see about this air filter. Sometimes these fall apart the minute you touch them. But I'm pretty sure you can still buy, these. Huh. Look at that, there's a spider living in there. So that's not too bad a nick. Alright, and then I think you can take, yeah, you can, there you go. Geez, memory's all coming back to me. This has had a bit of a hard life. Obviously it caught some moisture. And air filter, oh, it's like you can just feel it's gonna crumble. I was with the boys on the rally last year, and then one of the boys, they pulled their air filter out of the dirt bike and it just literally fell apart. Oh, out of the postie bike, sorry. They got a super old filter in them. Now, we're getting somewhere. Next thing, we'll have a look at this spark. Okay, this thing is so cranked up. I don't know if it's gonna make a spark, but we can check it. So what we'll do is we'll take that off. I'd be staggered if that's the original spark plug. 19. Yep, beautiful. Here we go. Oh, yep. Straight out. Look at that. She's pretty gunky though. It's just terrible. here we've got some memory paper, and I don't get too wound up about these spark plugs. I just literally feed this into the gap and go back and forth, give both surfaces a bit of a rough up. And the amount of small engines that I've got going again, just literally by doing this and setting a mediocre gap in there, or not even touching the gap. Just sand all this crud off, right? Make sure, I'll just usually get a small screwdriver or run my fingernail down it. Make sure there's nothing in the bottom of the thread, because that's gonna cause you to cross thread it, or can do. Now we're just gonna leave that, right? That's fine. She's pretty gunky. I'm just gonna take this exhaust off because it's just something I've always done out of habit. So we'll just put a bit of spray on there. And what are we doing here? That looks like where's that 11? Yep. Ooh, there we go. Same with that one. Yeah, that exhaust is going to come right off. That's beautiful. Look at that with a cool tube in there, little crush tube. That's great. Can we get this one? This looks like a little anti-rattle lock plate that was on there that wasn't doing much good. Seized on. Oh, look at that. That's beautiful. And the reason look at that little lock plate there for the screws. You bend those tabs over so that can't shake off. Now the reason I'm doing that is I've had these gunked up with bloody wasps and all sorts of stuff, but I can see there that pretty well that's just clear all the way through, which is great. I can see the exhaust valve in there. Oh yeah, it's going up and down. Beautiful. A bit of stuff. This is cool. I cannot believe how in good a shape this mower is. It's doing my head in. There we go. So we're not getting too fancy with tension there. We'll just nip it up. Okay. And then what we probably need to do is there's a correct gap to be in here between this flywheel and this coil. Okay, so we need to maintain that. So this back in down here, you can see here, this is the governor here on the engine. It's connected down here, and that if that was all gunked up here like it was, it's not gonna want to run properly. So we've got a few options there. We'll blow that out. We'll blow that out in the first instance. Put those couple in. What have we got here? Workshop degreaser. Whoa. We'll just do that. Let that sit for a bit. Here a bit of carby and throttle body cleaner. We're just gonna, oh yeah, super gunky. Cool. Like brand new nearly. All these little bits, you know, they need to be able to work. You know, you need to get all that shit off them and get all the gunk off them. That's what that stuff's for. Even between these plates, there's a bunch of shit. All right, it's all meant to move freely. And if it's just grass and stuff junked up in there, you're never gonna run properly, right? Okay, so we've been shopping and we've got ourselves a couple of things to work with. Spark plugs, of course. Now I've got a spare one. I needed one for another job. So these were I just get these online. Seems to be cheaper. NGK BMA 6. So if you haven't seen one of them and you haven't been around enough mowers, all right, so that put those to the side. We can do it in a minute. An air filter. Okay, they're not perfect these days. They're kind of a bit of a weird shape, but they just fit in. I just order that same one every time. They fit in. It's not worth chasing the exact model. And then of course the most important thing, while we didn't have a spark, was our coil and a DCI. So we've got a few parts in here and we'll just get these out carefully. One thing we've got to be careful of when we're doing this stuff is to get the exact right model, because some of these have different, you know, points condenser and this and that and the other. So what we've got here is we've got the coil lead that goes to the spark plug. That's pretty standard. That's this hanging out the front here. Then we've got a bunch of bibs and bobs, and we've actually got here, this is those elongated holes to adjust the gap between this and the flywheel that's got the magnets on it. And yeah, that's pretty straightforward. And it's got this little tab. This is the kill switch. This ends up going down to, on these models, when you push the throttle all the way back, it connects, it pushes down a tab underneath where the throttle is and grounds and sends the spark to ground, and that's what helps, that's what makes it stop the spark and stop the mower. So there we go. She's an aftermarket job. It's remain to be seen if it even works, but we'll give it a shot. Get these bolts out. We're just going to ever so gently prise this up. Oh, there we go. Corner on the magnet. It's definitely looking the same. Here's our same unit. Slightly different. This comes out of the same spot, that's fine. Make sure that's going to be centered in the middle. Crimp that on. All the way down. Beautiful. Yep, perfect. I'll just take that off for now. Take that off. Decent crowbar under here. Now sometimes these have points where they want you to do this. So what I'll do is just going to find a good spot. Here we go. Just on the crankcase here. Make sure I'm not going to damage anything. Now I'm actually going to leave her up on that. Give that a sharp whack. There we go. Just doing that right-handed, so forgive me. And that's how you get that keyway. That's how you get that off. It's going to go and take that. It's going to go and take that onto the linisher to linish this a bit better, so we get more contact on the. So I'll put that on the linisher to really clean that up to make sure we're getting a good magnet. There we go. Much better. Right. Rattle this bad boy up. No need to go overboard. Oh, nice. That's nice. Right, now we'll see what spark we get. Something just ain't quite right. So we electrified another day here. What I've done is we've put the coil on, and I've just reset this, the end that was on the old coil on here that houses the spark plug connector. I've just reset that onto this one. One thing I did do is look up the spec for the gap between the flywheel and the coil, and it's roughly, they want you to be 5 thousandths of a mil or 0.13 millimeters. So I've since done that, and you can see there that, I mean, there we go, she fits in pretty tight. Right, and I have seen people using you know, receipt paper and all that sort of stuff, but I'd rather put a feeler gauge in there and make sure it's right. So the other problem I did have was I wasn't getting any spark when I put this on before. And I thought, oh, these are the 2 wires for the different ground options. So one here, this one, we've got the ground that's the old school ground that you just earths out that coil. And this one is if you've got a switch or an on-off switch. So we'll probably end up cutting this one off. We don't need it. And then I double checked that I had a good connection between the spike in here and the cable that comes from the coil. Now this has got a CDI in it, so it's got a little sensor here that senses when the magnets are coming around, and it sets it to fire. So what I actually found was when I flipped it upside down, it started working. So I don't know what the situation was with this one. Yeah, so once I flipped it upside down, it started working right. So I don't know if the original one was on upside down or it's a different style, but yeah, just make sure you try that trick with these. You know, sometimes people put them upside down, and I just thought, you know what, it's rare that I would get a new coil and a new spark plug that wouldn't work on a freshly cleaned up magnet. So yeah, I'll just test that spark now on this here, on the head here. And we're gonna give that pull. Oh yeah, a nice strong spark there. Okay, that's perfect. So what we're gonna do is we'll take that off, and we'll put the spark plug back in. That's good enough. Feed that in by hand first. Just gonna nip that up. Perfect. Put that on there for now and leave it like it is. Now what we will do is we will just see if we can't put these head bolts back in, just so that when we do fire it up, we don't get into any concern. Now, I've checked the compression on this, just with my thumb, of course, but that's all I ever do with these old engines. So what we're gonna do is just lean up on all of these head bolts, just to make sure. So what we'll need to do is, we'll just lean up on all of these, get a bit of a cross pattern going, because they get loose over the years, right? And the gasket compresses, so we're just gonna make sure that they're all nice and tight. And I'm not, you can see here I don't have a giant big socket on there. I'm not rattling them up. I'm just nipping up on them, okay? Just a little bit of a pattern, nothing, doesn't have to be perfect. All right, that's there. Beautiful. Okay, excellent. I'll just nip up on this one as well, just to make sure we're in a good spot. Beautiful. So we've got a fair bit of control over this now. I've got the earth leads here, so we'll just wrap them up out of the way for now. Make sure they're not going to be touching anything. There we go, beautiful. And I think we can reasonably see if we can get a start out of it. I say we give it a good old 1, 2, 3 and see what happens. Just make sure we're set. We're fairly well set. Full there, or just off the full. Stop it! That was first pull. No word of a lie. I put that on, I put the spark plug in, and I put it back together. That's crazy. That's mental. Let's just see if we can get it to go again. That's great. I put new fuel in it too, by the way. Holy shit. What a cool old mower. That's crazy. I tell you what we're gonna do now, put some oil in it, just to make sure. All right. Just goes to show these old bangers, like how good is that? That's just absolutely fantastic. What we're gonna do is, I'm gonna go old school on this and just tip it out. So what we'll do is, all right, we've got our pan here. Can't find my little low pan, so this is gonna have to do. We're just gonna drain the oil out of this bad boy. There we go. All right, that'll do. There we go, what do we got here? Yep, funnel, perfect. Whoops. So, whoa, some oil, fresh oil in there. These things don't take much, so don't get carried away with it. Tad more. All right, that's looking pretty good. That's awesome. All right, just keeping an eye on those. They're all the same length, so that's okay. Now, just taking this off again. What I want to do is get this little wire that is the earth wire. I'm just going to bring that up through here. Sorry, not the earth wire, it's the ground for the spark. All right, so we really need to be managing that so we'll be able to use this properly. So that's through there, not touch anything. I'm just we're gonna cut that off. Here we go. Gonna cut that off there. Strip some back. So I tested that before, right? That little braided line, and it goes in. It just goes in this little plastic and copper device here, see? Just literally goes in, like you press that down and it goes in, and then you put that back in place. Just like that, and that wire should just be tucked in there. We'll actually bring some of it back through here a little bit. There we go, beautiful. That's it, and we can put that, well, it's pretty hot already. Then we can put that back on. There's this little one that goes in here. Head bolts in. Duh. This one here for this one. Oh, there we go. Okay, beautiful. Head bolts back on. Excellent. Okay, there we go. Now this one, we're just gonna make a plan here. I'll just wrap that around my finger normally. I'll tape that up out the way. I tend not to cut that other lead off till I'm absolutely convinced that everything's going great. You know, because I have had to send some of these coils back, you know, back in the day, but they've been pretty good for the last forever, you know what I mean? We'll just tape him up so it doesn't ground to anything, and we wonder why it's not working. Oops. We wonder why it's not working. Gotta work these things sometimes. Work it. Don't break it, that's all. Just tweaked it slightly. We just need to open it back up. Phillips head will stab in through there. Beautiful. That'll be ready to go. Perfect. Okay, so where are we at? She's got oil in her, so we'll give it another quick run. That's neat. That is cool. There's not a lot left to do. I was worried that fuel tank was a bit wobbly before. That wasn't tight. That's a classic. Jeez, excitement building. Now, we've got these mincy little screws here for the top guard. And what we're going to do is just give these the littlest bit of nip. This one houses the holder for the throttle cable. Bring our throttle cable back. Thread it through there. It's going to get a holder there, but we can put this back in place here like that. When this thing is all the way back, it needs to be that this is pulled into the right spot. So there it is there, right? That's where it wants to be. Okay, so we're going to put this securing lug just on there like that. Screwdriver. Make sure we're not going to strip anything out. Just get that started first. There we go. So it's meant to be, it wants to be in the off position because that's where off is, right? And that's where this is down here. So we'll just nip that up. Make sure that's not going to go anywhere. Then give it a test run. Now we go all the way to full. Choke, yep. Nice. Beautiful. It's probably a little... No, that's okay. That's good. Data back on. There's this bolt here that slips in under there. There. This one here goes in the back. It's an interesting model where the starter is the first thing that comes off, which is interesting. That filter's, yeah, she's not quite right, but hey, when you're 40 years old, what are you going to do? There we go. I didn't have it in the right spot. I wasn't paying attention. Do this up, not too tight, just nip it up so it doesn't rattle. Excellent. Right, now we've got one more thing to do, which is get this crazy blade off and make sure. I'm also checking there's no like oil pissing out of here, out of this seal, which is great, so that's good news. There's a heap of string and stuff on here, so I'm just going to got a block of timber around here somewhere that I normally use. So it's going to put that under there. Make sure that's not going to go anywhere. We'll go and get the rattle gun. Okay, not sure what size that is. It seems like it'll scare it. It's a 14. There we are. Here we go. Yeah, nice. Ew. Got string, all sorts of stuff on there. Baling twine and bits and pieces. This mower, I cannot believe how in shape this mower is. It's ridiculous. They're either mowing a postage stamp or he's really looked after it. I'll away from myself there. Oh yeah, a big bit of string on here that's just been on here for years, I reckon. Look at that. Ah, new lease on life. Beautiful. That seal's leaking a touch under there, but hey, guess what? Something's going to leak. Okay, bit of lube on this, but we'll pick one up. I reckon this will mow for now anyhow. See how we go. I'll get that orientated again. It's just the old one hit, one straight blade, these things. That did that bolt a favour too, I reckon. All right, very gently with the rattle gun here. When you're doing those up, don't go bananas, you know, just do it up. Make sure the washer's sorted. Okay, geez, we're getting close to an actual mow here. That will be awesome. Bit of fuel down the back there too. Let's go see if she mows. Well, there you go, folks. That's been a great project. This is the Masport Craftsman 4 horsepower deluxe mower, 1984. I think that's pretty impressive. It's a Briggs and Stratton 178cc. I reckon these are the coolest old mowers. So who knew? A couple of little tinkers and a few bits and pieces, and she's operating as it would have done 40 years ago. So pretty impressive. Let's see how she mows. There you go. All she needs is a new blade and a catcher. We'll go another 40 years. Happy projecting.